Welcome to Kenyan Baby Mama. Hope you guys are good. 2021 is treating you well. I am fantastic. Me and mine are doing great and we are so grateful. So I thought I would be able to do a lot of vlogging in 2021. Like I had so much psych, I had a diary and all the things I wanted to talk about, and then life happened. So I'm starting now. Oh, but you guys like my lines? Yeah, I'm growing out my hair, so I'm a wigs chick. I do wigs, and so these lines help to keep my wigs together. Yeah, but I like them. Look at it. It reminds me of when I was in school. Picking my head shape. It's not too bad, is it? Forehead game is on. Anyway, I digress. So there has been this conversation actually the last couple of days, a day or two ago. Someone started a conversation on social media, one of the platforms that I follow, and they were asking people to share their experiences of what they had to do, or for people to share their experiences if they have had to make the decision to leave their children with relatives to go to other countries to find work so they can support their families back home. And it was really interesting. It was like people had such different opinions. But the thing that stood out the most for me was that majority of people that admitted to having left their kids with relatives or friends to go look for greener pastures out there were women. And I remember one of the comments one of the gentlemen asked was like, this is so disheartening. Like, a lot of those stories could tell that these people just got to a point where they felt for real they didn't have any other option and they had to leave their kids behind. Not because they didn't want their kids or they didn't want to be with their kids, but it's because they're like, we can stay here together and suffer, and I watch you not have food to eat, not have a roof over your head, or I can go to a different country and make money and send back home so that you can have a decent education, have a roof over your head, eat well and be comfortable. And as a mother, it's not easy to make that decision. And the person who noticed that it was mostly women telling their stories asked, where are the fathers to these kids? And it's really painful to see so many women whose baby daddies have walked away from not just their lives, but also the lives of the children that they had together. And I'm not saying this to mean that women don't do that too. It's true. Some women do walk away from their children and they leave them with their fathers and they never look back. That happens. But fact is, especially in Africa, it's the other way around. Most of the times it's men who will just move on, like they never even had those children. And then to listen to the stories of these women and the lengths they are going to so that they can take care of their kids is just heartbreaking. So my 2 cents, like from my experience, I have had opportunities to leave the country and go study and work elsewhere. And for me, the reason I never left was because of my daughter. Because it was either I live with her or I don't live at all, because I could just not reconcile the idea of me not being able to be there for her. And there was a time when the dad was in the country with us, and so then I felt, as much as I trust the father 100% with taking care of a child, I could not be able, I didn't think I would survive outside the country without her. Like I could go and I have that scholarship to study and I'm working, but I felt I would not be able to do well academically and even professionally because I'd be so distracted, I'd be so distraught, I'd be so depressed, and I would then in that way I would have failed in the very same mission that took me there in the first place. So that's why I didn't go. But I'm not going to be ignorant about the situation. Right now, I have the luxury to choose not to go because one, I have a decent income. I'm comfortable. I'm not rich. I wish I had so much more. Oh my God, I work so hard to make so much more, but I'm not at that point where I can say I'm desperate. So I can't compare myself with someone who, say, dropped out of school, got pregnant, got together with this guy, things didn't work out, they went separate ways, and because they're academically they're disadvantaged, that also makes them disadvantaged professionally because of the kind of jobs that they have access to, and so probably their income is way lower, and so they honestly cannot be able to sustain their life and that of their child or children on that little income. And so if an opportunity to go work even as a domestic worker in a place like Saudi comes up and it's making good money that they know that they can be able to send back home and everyone will be sorted, then they can make that decision. And you know what? I don't judge. I think if I were put in that same situation, I would probably make the same decision. Because one of the most terrifying things about mothers, especially for single mothers, is the fear that you'll not be able to take care of your child. It keeps you awake at night. It makes you physically, mentally, emotionally ill. The idea that you'll not be able to take care of that child, especially if you are the primary caregiver. I applaud the men and women out there who are making sacrifices to be able to take care of their children, to make sure that they are comfortable. But let's not forget one thing, and I'm not being the devil's advocate. From what I have seen is that when it comes to growth, children grow in all ways. They grow physically, they grow emotionally, they grow spiritually, psychologically. And so when you leave the country and you go to another country to make money so that your child back home can be comfortable, they're going to grow, they're going to thrive. Maybe academically because you can be able to pay for their tuition in a good school. Maybe socially because they're going to interact with people that provoke how they think, that provoke them to become better. But they will, your emotional, as children grow emotionally, they connect emotionally with people that are closest to them physically, like physical proximity. So if they live with their grandparents, for instance, they're going to develop that emotional connection with their parents. You might call, thank God to technology nowadays, you can call, you can video call every single day, even multiple times a day. But because of that physical distance, that physical separation, you should not expect that emotional connection to be there as much as it should be. And that emotional disconnect, sadly, ends up affecting a lot of these children when they are adults. I remember there was another post someone had put in a different forum where they were saying that they are getting married, but because they have lived with, she had lived with her aunt or someone else or a stepmom for the longest time because the mom had left and she went on and got married elsewhere, and so she was left with the dad and the dad got married. And so this stepmother was a really good woman, but they're not all stepmothers are from hell, they're really good ones. She was a really good stepmother and she raised her really well and they were very close. And so before she got married, the mom had already come back into the country and they had a relationship, but she never had that connection. And she actually stated in that in the post, she said, I don't have an emotional connection with this woman who is my biological mother. And so I'm trying to find the best way to explain to her that I want my stepmom to walk me down the aisle, because that's the person she feels she wants to hold her and walk her down the aisle as she takes this next step, big step in her life. So that is the downside. However, like I said earlier, I will not judge. I cannot judge a person who here is doing a job where they're earning, say, 6,000 bob a month. That's not, in this economy, in this day and age, that money can be, it's honestly, I don't even see how it's okay. Maybe it's possible, but it's really hard to survive on that money, and you're paying rent, you're buying food, you're paying school fees if you have a kid or you have kids. Like, let's be realistic. And maybe for the same job, you can go to a different country and you're earning almost 100 G's or 50 plus. And you know that for you to make that much money here, you would have to advance your education. And right now, priority is not going back to school because you have children and you can't even first afford that school fees. So you try and reason, you're like, okay, let me go work, put together money, I will come back. And I would not judge anyone who makes that decision. And I know it's not an easy decision to make. I have never met any mother, and I know many women who have gone to other countries to look for money. I have never met any one of them who says, I am so excited, I'm leaving the country, I'm leaving my children. None. They are almost always sad and depressed. They cry a lot because every time they look into their children's eyes and they're thinking, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. I won't be able to see you when I wake up every morning. I won't be able to make you breakfasts. I won't be able to take you to bed every night. It's not easy. But it's a difficult, and some of the comments that people are putting are really harsh. One of the people said something about no sober parent would leave their child. And the thing that hurt me the most is that this person is somebody I know, and I know they don't have children. So I guess also sometimes, and that's why I'm saying I'm not going to speak from a point of ignorance. Right now, I'm in a position where I'm living a comfortable life. God knows I would be lying if I say that I'm struggling, because I'm not. And I'm grateful to God for the blessings that He has bestowed upon me. But I also know that there are people who, for real, it's not that they want to. They have gone so many nights hungry. They have been kicked out of their homes. You come back, there's a padlock on your door because you have rent areas. School is calling, your child is being kicked out of school because you've not paid school fees. Like, so much is piling up on you, and then maybe you don't even have a supportive family, or maybe your family is worse off, so they're depending on you. They're calling you, oh, we need this, we need that. Pressure. And you just get to a point you're like, you know what, a job may come. At least I take care of things as I figure out next. And it's a big thing to do. It's not easy, and a lot of the times they do go and they do make good money and they send it back. But of course, it comes at a cost. And all I can do is I just pray for God's grace and favor to all those that have had to make that difficult decision. May God watch over your children, over your families, over those people that you trusted your children with, and may He increase you abundantly so that you can also be able to come back, or even take your kids and be with them where you are, so that you at least salvage the relationship that you have. Because having that physical connection, just being there with them, knowing that they're there, that you get to see them, that you get to hug them and kiss them goodnight, that is everything. That is the reason why I feel, for me, that is, my child gives me purpose. She gives me a reason to wake up every morning and try again and again and again. I fall down many times, but I look into that child's eyes and I know I cannot quit. And it's like that for most parents. So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. So good luck to all those parents that are out there in other countries looking for money and growing themselves so that they can help their families and their children back at home. And may God find a way to bring you guys back together. Yes. Cool. Okay, so have a great week. My day is just about to begin. Oh my gosh, I feel like a schoolgirl. This reminds me of when I was in school. Ooh la la. Okay guys, bye bye.